I was debating whether or not to do anything for Autism Awareness Week. I don't like the term awareness. I think everyone's aware, as do, I'd say 99% of the autistic community feel this way. And I was so sure I wasn't going to do anything. I haven't even brought my GoPro with me, so this is on my phone. So apologies for how close it is to my face. But I thought there's loads of videos out there where someone's sort of sat talking to a camera about what being autistic is like for them. But I'm going to relate this to running because this is my thing now. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is identity first language. So for all of you out there who don't know what that is, especially because this is mainly going to be posted on my running account, so actually a lot of people really don't know this stuff already. So identity first language is using autistic rather than person first language, person with autism. Now, non-autistic people tend to try and say, oh, you should use person first language because you need to see that they're a person too. Well, first off, if you need to describe me as a person with autism rather than an autistic person, to remind yourself that I am in fact a human being, then that says a lot more about you than it does about me. It's a really rubbish argument for it, you know. And to relate this back to running, which is the point of today's video, and if I do any others this week, is don't describe yourself as a person who runs. That is what you do, but it's not how you describe yourself. If somebody asks, you're a runner, and nobody queries that. They don't say, oh, but you're so much more than you're running. You are a person who runs. You know, if you call yourself a runner, I'm going to forget that you're a human, because running is seen as positive. And this leads me to the next sort of reason why we prefer identity first language, is we don't see being autistic as inherently negative. It's not. Our life experiences can often be negative because society is just not set up for the way our brains work and for our sensory experiences, etc. But, you know, I'll cover that another time if I have the energy, the mental energy, to do more than this video. So, yeah, point one, use identity first language. We're autistic just as you're a runner, or you're a woman, or you're a man, or you're a solicitor, or a doctor, or anything that is part of your identity. So, yeah, lesson one, I need to stop talking for a bit. I'm not fit enough for this. So, I always say so before I start talking. I wonder why that is. Anyway, I've been thinking about other things that I can relate back to running to make my experience as an autistic person more relatable for those who don't really know. So I think I need to say at this point, talking about my experiences, a lot of autistic adults get accused of speaking for the whole community, and we're not doing that. It's a way of shutting us down by non-autistic parents of autistic children. So, disclaimer, I'm autistic, but I'm also a parent of autistic children, so, you know, I do understand how difficult it is to navigate systems that just put up barriers at every step of the way, but that doesn't mean that the non-autistic parents can talk over us. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm good at that. So, one thing that I was thinking of is routine. So, I'm a bit of a, I don't want to say stereotype, because that's not really true, but I am autistic and I do love routine. Find it hard to stick to a lot of the time because I'm also an ADHDer, which can be a really frustrating combination. But routine is really important, and even at the age of 35, if my routine is disrupted, I find it really difficult to get back on track, and often find it very difficult to cope. And this is something that a lot of people don't really accept or understand when it comes to autistic adults, especially ones who are also parents, because we're almost expected to just get on with it, get over it, which is really ableist, by the way. But a way that I might be able to put it into relatable terms is, you know, when you're training for a race and you get injured and then your training plan has to go on hold and you don't know how long it's going to be on hold. You don't know if you're going to get all the miles in before race day. It could be the difference between you finishing and not. It could be the difference between you getting the time you've been working so hard for and not. And those feelings of upset and anger and frustration and just almost feeling jealous of people whenever you see them out running, that, you know, their stuff's going to plan, why can't mine? And it's a really simplistic example because it's a lot more nuanced for autistic experience, but I'm trying to put this into terms that are understandable by those who may not knowingly have come across autistic people before. I mean, you've definitely, all of you, unknowingly come across autistic people because, you know, we don't live in a vacuum or a bubble. We are everywhere. Sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it? We're everywhere. But for people who don't really know this stuff, I think putting it into understandable terms and scenarios is the best way to relay that information. So yeah, next time your autistic friend, co-worker, child, whatever, is having a really hard time because the plan has changed, think of the last time you had to put a hold on your training plan because of injury, and hopefully that'll help you understand and support that person through all of their emotions. So I think this is going to be my last point of today's video. I want to talk about running. For me, could be classed as my autistic intense interest. And it's how I've described it myself. Much prefer the phrase intense interest than special interest, because sorry to tell you other runners out there, but there's nothing that special about running. But I am into it intensely, so that is a descriptor I accepted for myself. Sort of still do, but it's only a sort of now. And I'll tell you why. And it is because of the running community. Other interests I've had, intense interests, I did seem to be into them more than a non-autistic person into the same thing. I would get upset if I couldn't engage in my intense interest. I need to dedicate a certain amount of my time to pursuing it, otherwise I burn out really, really easily. Burnout is something I might cover another time actually. But yeah, and then I became part of the running community, and yeah, maybe my autistic intense interest, but guys, some of you are definitely more intensely interested than I am. And no, I'm not armchair diagnosing you. What I'm saying is autistic people have, whispering now, hobbies. Big secret there. Hobbies. Yes, that word that's used to describe every non-autistic person's intense interest are hobbies. And they are a really important part, thank you, a really important part of life, really important part of self-care, a really important part of just who you are as a person. Hi doggo. But when we have hobbies, it's pathologized, you know. We're not allowed to just be really into something. It has to be part of a DSM-5 or an ICD-10 criteria. And I don't really get it, you know. I do get upset if I can't run because it's part of my routine. I do love the stats, you know. I love going on to Garmin Connect and Strava, seeing how I'm improving, seeing my VO2 max go up, even though, let's be honest, I don't really know what it means. I do, sort of. How well my muscles can convert oxygen into energy or something, maybe, I don't know. Someone let me know if I'm right. But my point is, anybody who isn't autistic and is a runner, or a person who runs, is allowed to have this as their hobby. And for me, it's my special interest. I mean, it's quite infantilizing as well, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. Special interest. Like, you know, yeah, not that special. Very enjoyable, usually. Struggling today, but it's boiling. Not literally boiling, but it's very warm. And it's a lot harder holding your phone out than it is holding a GoPro out. So my arms are really aching, which is why I keep swapping. But yeah, so 3 things today where I have explained my autistic perspective and put it back to running. Hope you enjoyed this. If not, please enjoy the fact that a number of people have looked at me for talking at my phone while running past them. So yeah, that's probably going to be the next entry in whatever new iterations of the DSM and the ICD come out, you know, talks into cameras. That'll somehow be pathologized because of the increasing number of us who are doing informative videos, or hopefully informative videos like this. So anyway, this wasn't scripted, you can probably tell, and yeah, might do another one, I might not. I'm doing a lot of self-care this week, and if I'm not up to it, then I won't, because things like this do attract a lot of negative comments, as well as maybe 1 or 2 positive ones. So you've got to be a very strong person to do it, or be like me, who is not necessarily that strong but will do it anyway. So yeah, thanks guys, and keep running and be nice to your autistic friends. Okay, thanks.